Hey everybody, my name is Braden, and I'm here with Gabriel and Coach King, and we're going to do a senior spotlight interview. There you
Yeah, so I'm Gabriel Hughes. I am a senior here at Lutheran. The games I play are Overwatch and Valorant this fall season for the Lancer Esports, but I also do casting on the side for VHGO, which is a great partner with Stay Plugged In.
Awesome. And how did you get into esports? What was your first venture into video games or competitive esports?
Well, my first adventure into video games was back up all the way on the PS3 at the Lego games. That was classic childhood stuff there. But once I really got into competitive was with Overwatch. Actually, I started doing Overwatch on the console just for fun, just because it was a little bit more of a competitive environment and the games last longer. So it was a nice excuse to my parents who were calling for dinner. So and then after that, I started playing with some friends, and that's when I started to do like casting as like a troll thing. It wasn't like serious, but I started casting my friends' gameplay like during clutches and stuff just to irritate them. I thought it was just super funny, right? So then when I was coming in trying to find a high school, I saw that had their esports program started as a club my freshman year. So I joined their club. We just had just club, nothing really special. And then next year we were official academic program. So I joined the Overwatch team, and that our first ever season is when we won our Overwatch League championship in the spring of 2022, and it just kind of kicked off from there. I've been with the program ever since.
That's awesome. So you've kind of been around since the get go and know the ins and outs of the high school program at least. What skills are, I'm going off the cusp here, what skills or lessons have you learned being a part of that original group of esports athletes that maybe you don't think you would have known if you would have just joined, 4 or 5 years into it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially in my case, because I'm fortunate enough to be the only one that's left from that club. A lot of people have just stopped in and come by. So I'm kind of like the originator, I guess you want to call it, the OG. But like, definitely like the camaraderie and the commitment is huge, especially like when you're going to college level. No matter what sports, commitment is massive, and especially in the esports field where it seems like an easy job, right? You're just playing video games, but it isn't. I'll be the first one to say it is not. It's very stressful, especially when you're taking it to the level that we do, where we're putting 110% into every single day of practice and games. So I think you should expect that, especially on college level.
I definitely agree, and I love the origin story you shared of how you came into casting, and just kind of casting over your friend's gameplay. So it's a really unique idea and super cool, and there's a lot of opportunity there. And obviously, you found a pathway through it. How has competing in high school been, and what's maybe your favorite memory?
Well, competing with high school, it's always been a joy. I've loved it. Obviously, there was definitely downsides where you get burnt out, but luckily for Orange Lutheran, like Coach King said earlier, is that we had two games. Like you can play two games, so I'm able to flex very well. Like last year I was playing Apex. Now I have the joy of playing the Valorant team. So I've been on Overwatch all 4 years though, so I've been sticking with that. But it's just a lot of flexibility. It's really nice, and but it's very stressful.
And what's your main and what rank are you in both games?
Uh, so my main role would be support Diamond 2 currently. I am on the verge of Masters. I'm almost there, but due to this season, we have no tank players, so I am stepping up and filling the role of tank. So I'm just starting playing tank. I'm only plat in tank. I'm not that good, but I'm getting there. I'm improving. So
Awesome. Yeah, no, I'm a tank main as well. When I do play Overwatch, I'm no good by any means. I love playing
Good
hamster.
enough to go 1-0
Oh,
in our
sure.
first week.
Yeah.
So like we swept the competition. I don't know what he means. He's not good.
okay.
Sounds pretty good to me.
So one of the cool things I think of a tank role is you kind of inherit that IGL role, right, in itself. Has
Yeah,
that been a
absolutely.
switch at all? I know you said you were a support, and so has calling been a change for you?
For in the terms of Overwatch, yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely talking a lot, but I have a background doing captains and managing for Rocket League. So I was always the IGL for Rocket League. I was always the one doing VOD reviews. So it's just I'm taking the exact same concepts I learned from Rocket League and just importing it to Overwatch. So it's a little more smoother transition from just doing a normal support to tank because I have my background in Rocket League. But it's still a little bit more stressful because you are always making decisions in that game, especially with ult tracking. Like in Rocket League, you're not really ult tracking. Like when you get a goal, you kind of just like, okay, this is our kickoff. Let's just go back into it. So it's a little bit more of a long term process than Rocket League. I mean, but it's still pretty nice.
That's awesome. You really are a Swiss Army knife of all esports titles. You can just kind of fill in wherever needed. I'm sure your coach really appreciates that as well. Now, Coach, let's jump in with you. Introduce yourself. Give us your background.
Well, hello. I am Coach Spencer King. I'm also a science teacher here at Orange Lutheran, and I never planned on being a part of esports when I was hired to teach science. And I love, though, that the clouds parted and the ray of light shone on this opportunity for me to walk into, that I've been blessed to get to do video games where I also work and where I teach. And so it is my first year teaching here was also my first year doing esports. That was 3 years ago, the first year where the club became that official scholastic program that I got to be a part of. We didn't have any official head coach. I was just a volunteer teacher, really. So it wasn't until last year where our program blew up. They needed to actually give someone that title, and I wanted it. And here I am. I'm now the head coach of esports. Like Gabe said, willingness is a huge factor for anything esports. And so it's our third year now as an official program, my second year as head coach, and I love it. I learn about games I have no business knowing anything about, like Splatoon and Overwatch. I had no business knowing these games. Valorant, no. But now I know things, and I love it. It's great to get down there in the trenches with them and figure out the best way to play these games.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love the learning experience that both of you are getting. I know, Gabe, you're stepping into kind of a managerial role on different titles as well. What would you say is your biggest curveball you've inherited, Coach, while overseeing the esports team? Aside from jumping in blind, yeah.
The biggest issue is commitment. It's scheduling. I don't think it's a big ask to be on the esports team, to give up 2 afternoons a week. But here at Orange Lutheran, a lot of students are involved in extracurriculars. More than 85% of our student body is involved in something. And so to share that precious time with esports usually doesn't work out. And so finding the students like Gabe is a rarity. Those who really are committed to the craft, who aren't afraid of burnout, and who are committed to play this game not just for fun, but to represent something larger than themselves.
Definitely, and it's still an interesting aspect that some schools take for esports. You see some schools jump in, head first and fully commit it to, hey, this is a fall sport. You're required to be here just like any other football practice. Or in your case, where it's 2 days out of the week, you're here from 3:30 to 5:30, whatever the time may be. How do you think your approach has gone, and do you maybe see a shift in that in the next coming years?
I think our first year, going into last year, it felt like we were building the plane as we were flying it, figuring things out. But fortunately, as time has gone on, we've also been able to hire other help. Like we have an FPS coach. Without him, we wouldn't have Overwatch, Valorant, or Apex, and they wouldn't do as well either. So huge shout out to Coach Kyle, because without him, the program would buckle under its own weight. I am not that strong. And so we need guys like him. And also we can't forget Coach Jack and Coach Michael, and Dr. B. We've got people here who care about the spirit of esports, who are willing to put in that time to help these teams, to help me bear the weight of everything. So without the coach staff, I don't think the program would be nearly what it is today.
For sure. Yeah, coaches are an incredible asset, especially when they're endemic to the scene, right? You don't have to have that coaching hurdle at all, or coaching them on what esports is, rather. Onto that aspect, as a coach, were you the one that discovered Spin, and did you reference it to your players, or was it vice versa?
I think Spin was found by players. I think it was our Overwatch team through VHEL.
Yeah. At
the time, UFEA found, or just through their postings, what Spin was, and they took the initiative to really get seen. And so the credit's all to them.
That's awesome. Yeah. And how do you think a tool like Stay Plugged In is utilized from your players? Like, do you think they utilize it to its fullest potential, as well as how valuable is it maybe for a coach to give your players the best opportunity they can find?
Well, let me tell you that I take every opportunity to brag about players like Gabe who have earned scholarships for video games. That blows the minds of everyone today still. And so as far as like marketing, it's great to be able to let the world know, like, this is the world we live in now. Like, this is viable. Like, see, Dad, I can make money with video games kind of thing. And how it's just impressive, though, at the same time, that it still is kind of a shock, even to me, someone who's in the trenches, that's a thing. But it could be more, as far as not just the awareness of those outside of the program, but for those in the program to be like, no, like, this can help you find where you need to be after high school. You don't have to go pro. You don't have to be a streamer or content creator. You can just use it as an avenue for some other career path of your choosing. And so I don't think that's really settled in with a lot of these. I think it's because not a lot of games are getting scouted, like, as often as many as we play. Like, I don't know if many of the Switch, I don't know if the Nintendo games are getting scouted as vigorously as the more PC-centric games are. And so I would like to see a change in that. And that's probably because Smash Brothers is my favorite of the games. I am biased, but just to really, I don't know, maybe Nintendo's hard to work with. I don't know, but it is one of those things that even our players don't realize the full potential that esports really can have.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I working with Stay Plugged In, every time I talk to a high school student whose life has been drastically changed by esports, where was this when I graduated high school? Like, this is incredible. And we're only going to see it getting bigger. I mean, I don't know how in tune you guys are with the professional esports scene and how much of a shift is going on currently, but Scholastic esports is going to be there 100% of the way through, and it's only going to get bigger. And within that, how do you maybe approach those parents who aren't endemic, don't know much about esports, have the questions? Is your approach education, or is it just, hey, trust your student, back them 100%, I've got them from here?
It's a little bit of both. It's a healthy mix of letting them know the kind of opportunities that esports could provide post high school, but also the benefits that it provides during their high school experience. Community, for one. Teamwork, leadership skills, especially for players like Gabe, who do rise to the top when it comes to filling that in-game leader role, or captain even. And those are life skills too, knowing how to deal with losses. I think maybe it goes without saying, I'll say it anyway, but sometimes this is a esports student's first time actually participating in something competitive. And so learning how to win and lose well is huge. I mean, the internet is toxic for a reason, and I think it's because a lot of those don't know how to respond well to adversity. And so learning how to win and lose well is also just a huge life skill.
100%. And I guess you've kind of hit the nail on the head in saying that losing is going to be a learning experience. We all know we've had teammates who don't handle losing very well. And so it's just as much of a teaching experience as it would be losing on the football field and getting shoved to the ground, anything like that. I like the comparison there. So Gabe, let's jump back in with you. Congratulations on committing to Huntingdon.
Thank you.
It's a great achievement, and I'm super excited to see what you have coming for you in the future. What led you to commit to Huntingdon, and what maybe kind of intrigued you?
Well, so I was just it was just probably just like a normal like school day, you know. I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden I just get a text just asking like, "Hey, I saw your spin profile." There we go. Words are hard. So I saw your spin profile, and I saw that you're interested in casting. Would you be down for an interview? So I was like, okay, let me verify it. So I go into my spin profile, see that they're following, see it's the same guy, so I know it's legit. That's one thing I think is really beneficial from spin, is that you can verify your text messages, emails that are legit through the website, which I think is absolutely fantastic because it gets a lot of scares. So we have the meeting on Friday. He kind of runs through like all the students, the games, classic college interview stuff, right? I'm like, okay, you know what? This seems like a pretty cool. I like their program. I'm just gonna put in my transcript. Just why not that night, right? I might as well. I'm already thinking about it. So then the weekend passed, and that Monday I was already accepted.
Wow.
Like it was a quick thing, and then I was talked to my interviewer, Coach Purple. Shout out to you, by the way. Very cool guy. So Coach Purple was kind of like, yeah. So I will send the $14,000 scholarship tonight, and then maybe the end of the week I already had my scholarship in hand. Like it was a quick progress. So really big shout out to Coach Purple and shout out to Spin for helping me out and making sure like this stuff was legit. So I'm very excited.
That's awesome. And so you're going for casting. Have you looked into competing at all, or you just want to focus on casting?
So what Coach Purple said was most likely what happens is I will be doing casting full time. But from what my skills for Overwatch, I would probably be put on the sub roster for the varsity team. That way I can still focus on casting, but let's say there's a player sick, they would still be able to play that day because I was their sub.
That's really cool. Again, the Swiss Army knife of talents that you have has led to multiple opportunities. One of the initiatives we're trying to push with Spin, especially this past fall, has been Jobs at Esports. And we have a podcast called Spincast where we interview coaches or casters, social media managers, anything like that, and trying to educate players and parents that there are more options, like Coach King hinted on earlier. There are more options outside of competing in esports. If you're wanting to be involved in the scene at all, there are accountants for esports teams. There are business managers, so on and so forth. So to see you taking the initiative and going to cast for an entire college program is awesome, and I'm very excited for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So what's maybe some differences that you're anticipating from college to high school? I don't know if you cast your current high school team or not, but do you maybe see yourself doing some more research on the opponent college team, anything like that?
Well, unfortunately, we don't have our casting set up currently. Hopefully by the spring.
Hopefully by the spring,
we'll have it that way. I can do that full time to get a little warm up. But in terms of colleges, yeah, absolutely. I definitely think maybe even doing dual casts. Like, let's say like the other team has a caster. Maybe I would try to link up with them, say, hey, we're playing on the same day. Do you want maybe do a dual cast? That way we can have a little friendly rivalry and just builds up relationships in the college scene, which I don't think a lot of people really have. I think that's the joy of esports, is that it's really easy to build up those friendly rivalries. Obviously, there's still rivalries. Obviously, you still want to beat them, but you're not like bragging about beating them, right? Like you're still having the good friendly competition, but still being at that level where you're giving 110% in and you want to win.
Yeah, I like that. You don't really see that comparison in esports at the collegiate level. In traditional sports, you'll have the rivalries, the Alabama versus Auburns and so on and so forth. With Huntingdon's case, Huntingdon can go out and beat Alabama, and if that was a football team, obviously, like, it would be a huge news story. Huntington's just like that in esports, like it happens. So those storylines are a little different, and I like that you touched on that. What major are you looking to go into at Huntingdon?
Sports business.
Nice.
So like what you're talking about earlier with how there's a lot of opportunities in accounting business, the dream job would be a business manager for a program like the NRG, throwing it out there. To be in the big leagues, that's the absolute dream. Obviously, it's way far out. Like I still got to get through my senior year first. But that's the big dream. So that's why I'm hoping to go into sports business. Obviously, I have backup plans and stuff, but that's the dream right now.
For sure. And touching on that, you had mentioned connections in esports. What are you doing outside of competition and I guess communication on Discord or something? Are you doing anything on Twitter to connect with other casters, or you said NRG? Are you linking up with any of the NRG people? How are you navigating that?
So hopefully, NRG just just opened up their open NRG competition. So hopefully I'll have time to get in on that. I don't know if I will, but so I'm hoping I can get into contact with that. Obviously, keep up with other teams like TSM, see if when their opens are. But currently, I'm just kind of doing YouTube, Twitch, just kind of having it open. So like, if people want to come in, I'd be happy to have them on stream. Hopefully, to get my podcast back up and running again. It's been a while since I've done an episode, so hopefully I can get that up and running. So I have like little bits and pieces here. So hopefully I can start getting them back up and running right now. But with school and stuff, it's a little hard. So I'm still trying, but that's kind of like my main connections right now.
How can people find you on Twitch and YouTube?
Twitch.tv/SawDudeGabe and YouTube.com/SawDudeGabe. All of my URLs are the same thing. So SawDudeGabe for pretty much anything you probably find me on.
All right, so let's jump into the Stay Plugged In side. This is directed to both of you, of course, so feel free to chime in on either side. We already touched on how y'all discovered Spin. What competitions have you participated in? I know you said you're comfy with the VHEL. Have you participated in any of their homesteads, or have you just mainly been competing online?
Well, for me personally, I've been involved with their Carry to College series, where I have participated once in Overwatch as a sub, and then I have also done a bunch of Valorant casting. A lot of Valorant casting for Carry to College. Games are always fantastic. I always have a great time casting them. So other than that, not really. I've definitely been heavily involved with Carry to College, but hopefully maybe one day go to a LAN event, but it's definitely a little far stretch. But I mean, I think it would be a great time, even maybe getting behind a desk in person as well. I think it would be a fantastic idea.
Gabe, I know you shouted it out earlier. Where can people find you, and what are you wanting to do content-wise in the future? And then Coach King, if you want to shout out your program or anything you guys got on.
So yeah, you can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/SawDudeGabe. I've been doing a lot of Dead by Daylight stuff, so kind of having a little fun. Hopefully get some Overwatch, Valorant maybe, but my PC isn't the greatest right now, so I've been trying to do a lot of it. But if you like horror, I do a bunch of horror stuff, so you can find me on Twitch there. And then I do montages over on my YouTube, twitch.tv/SawDudeGabe as well. Well, youtube.com/SawDudeGabe. Find me there. I do a bunch of Valorant, Overwatch, you name it. I probably have a montage of it. That's a competitive game, so I do a lot of just free montages, and then yeah, that's it for me.
So I gotta brag about Gabe just a little bit more as we come out, because he, like he said, he's one of the OGs. He wasn't just one of our players in the club. He's one of the players in the club who's still playing today. He was playing on our esports program before I got here. Gabe, if I could.
Oh boy, here we go.
Gabe is literally the poster child for esports. So here's our athletics poster, and look at that.
There he is.
There he is, dude.
That's awesome.
He's our poster child. He plays everything, but he's earned that spot. Not only with his leadership skills, not only with the golden heart that he has, that he cares about his teammates, he cares about playing well. That doesn't mean just winning. And so if we could have like a team of Gabes, like that's kind of like the standard right now is for Gabe. But he has represented Orange Lutheran High School very well. When we do get streaming up, it will be on Twitch and YouTube at Olu Lancer Esports is where you can find that channel. It could be live, but there's not much activity right now. So come spring, we will be streaming more, and maybe you'll even get to hear this guy cast.
And if you follow the Lancer Esports Instagram, that will be your updates for streaming and stuff. And then we also do, during the spring season, we also do game day reports of scores. So check that out and give it a follow if you want.